Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, June the 4th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses because we do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we have Hypo 1 and Hypo 2, which are our two main hypotheses or trade plans. We wait for the market to open up, show us who's in control, and then execute the plan that best suits the market. Then we have Hypo 2 or Hypo 3 and Hypo 4, which are our expansion hypotheses, and this is for when we go into trending type scenarios. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to in the pre-market, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. And again, if you want to check it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. So taking a look at Friday. Friday, our main hypothesis was a open auction just in range or just out of range, a rotation down to test the value area, possibly even come down into closing the gap. But we were looking for buyers to step in, rotate us up into that 36, which was our main target, that naked VPOC, and then possibly a late day probe up to testing the 41.75 and then closing somewhere back in the 30s. That was Hypo 1. Hypo 2 was an open auction out of range. Take out the overnight high, then find sellers and rotate us down and come back down into balance. That did not happen. Hypo 3 was a gap and go, and that was an open auction in range failure to get inside of the value area, leave the gap open, and rotate us up through the 36 into the 41, and then push up into that mid of the gap above at 49. We kind of got a hybrid of Hypo 1 and Hypo 3. We got the gap and go, but they just stalled it out, and they didn't have the energy or the volume to take it and break through that key line in the sand above that we've been talking about for the breakout. But we did get that break in the Sunday night session, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But let's get the news out of the way. News today, we don't have a lot. We've got gap goods shipped non-defense at 10, CB employment trends, durable goods, factory orders ex-transport, all at 10 o'clock. These aren't really big movers. Then we've got the 3-month and the 6-month bill auction at 11:30. These are all Eastern time, by the way, if you're joining us. And then that's about it for today. Tomorrow, though, we do have the 10 o'clock. We had ISM non-manufacturing PMI. So that'll be the big news with the JOLTS jobs tomorrow. Nothing real heavy after that. Then on Wednesday, we've got some news coming out of Canada for the IVPMI. Will be the big one for Canada. 10 o'clock we've got, 10:30 we've got crude inventories and all the associated news. And then that's basically it for Wednesday. Thursday, we've got initial jobless claims at 8:30 in the morning, and Bank of Canada Financial Review at 10:30. Bank of Canada Pelosi speaking. Again, not real big. And then on Friday, we've got the Canadian employment change at 8:30. And then we've got 10 o'clock, we've got wholesale inventory. So it's actually a very light news week in terms of economic news. That doesn't mean there's not a lot to worry about in terms of headline risk. And that's, of course, North Korea, the summit's back on, the tariffs and the trade war that's heating up, more stuff out of Iran. So there's lots of headline news to keep us occupied. Now, each day I like to take a look at the macro to micro. It's a very basic but very important part of my morning routine. And I start with just a simple candlestick chart, a 9 EMA and a 20 SMA. I start on the monthly. What I'm doing is I'm reviewing where we are in terms of the trend. Do we have good slope and separation? Are we losing slope and separation? Are we coming down or up to challenge the 9 EMA? Are we breaking the 20 SMA? Violating the trend, possible new trend change, and then I work my way down. You can see in the monthly, good slope, good separation, 14 months of one-time framing up is violated in February. We come down and we test the 9, and it looks like they want to roll it over, but they don't, and here we are gapping up again, and got slope and separation to the upside, and we've broken through a very key resistance at the 41.75. Going to the weekly, it looked like we were going to get a rollover there. We had broken below the 9 and the 20 twice, and it looked like we were going to get a possible trend change, and then they take it back. And what do we've got? We've got ourselves back above the 9 and the 20. We do not have slope and separation, but again, I keep talking about the fact that this is generally where we make a big move, is when we come back and get this moving average kiss or cross, and we break it through a key. So I've been looking for the release to the upside up into the 27.57, and that's what I'm looking for, into the 49 mid of the gap, and that 61.8% retracement. But we'll get into that in just a minute. Again, on the daily, we go into this consolidation, and we're getting the breakout from the symmetrical triangle. We're above the 9 and the 20, so I am expecting this to release to the upside after an initial drop this morning to balance out some inventory. Going to the intraday, the 4-hour, you can see in the 4-hour, we've been trending up. We've got good slope, good separation. Bit of a technical gap here down to the 34, and that's one of the stock areas, trade areas I'll be looking at. Going to the 30-minute, you can see that we were getting a nice stair-step trend up, and we come back and tested the 20. We're back above the 9, but we're just holding onto it right now. Going to be very interesting. That 41.75 is going to become our over-under line for the day. So let's take a look at the overnight session so far. Our week open is 27.31. We did gap down from the close on Friday. Went down, tested the value area low near the 28 area, got as low as 29. Then we closed the gap. We went up and fought the range high from Friday at 37, then finally broke through. And when we did, we started moving up into testing that 41 area, and they got through it, came back, held, and then we just been chopping just above it around the overnight VPOC, which is at 43.50, and we're getting a change of price acceptance higher. And I want to go through that because I want to just narrate the story for you, and why I'm looking at what I'm looking at. So we have this long elongated trend that goes up and puts new all-time highs. Now the all-time highs are unadjusted. What do I mean by that? Or unequalized. We put an all-time high in the Globex at 2883.50. This chart you see here is just the regular trading hours, the RTH session, and the RTH all-time high is 2880.25. I keep talking about the fact that this statistically never holds. They always go and take out that all-time high in the Globex and make it an RTH all-time high. But we tried to hold value after making that all-time high in the 28s. We can't hold. The last place they tried to hold was at the 28.09 area. They fail. They rotate all the way down to a prior microcomposite VPOC down here. They find the buyers. We try to break out and get back into the 2800s. Twice we fail, both times. Last time right at that prior microcomposite VPOC. And then they come down. And since then, all we've been doing is just trading back and forth inside of this value area that starts from February the 2nd, which is at that 4150 area. And it goes all the way down to the 2631. And we test both sides of it, and then we come up and we bang on it a couple times. The VPOC, the microcomposite VPOC, shifts from the 2669 area up into this 2718 area, and we go into this tight balance, and that VPOC, okay, shifts up to the 28 or 2718 50 area, and then we get the breakout, and we accept this price and we move higher. And now in the Globex, we've broken over the 4175. It's actually going to shift now. It was at, well, no, so sorry, it still is at 4175. We're trading just on top of it right now. So this is going to be our over underline. We're likely to come back and try to close this gap first, but the fact that we've broken through this now after banging on it, we've weakened it. We've created a weak high here, and I'm looking for the move now into the next area, which is up at the 2757 area, with 49 being the key target today, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So the key levels to pay attention to, obviously the 4175. Then there's going to be this 36, which is the value area high of the shorter time frame from this gap up day here, and the current compression that we've been seeing. I talk about compression, but it's a wide compression because of the fact that the volatility has has come back into the marketplace. And then if we don't hold the 35, 36 area, I'll move back down into the 29 to 25. Anything below 25, I think, will come all the way back and take back Friday and come back down into balance here at 1875. 1875 now becomes our key line in the sand, because if we don't hold the price acceptance that we just broke out of, then we're likely to have to go lower to find more buyers, and likely come all the way back down into this 98 and a quarter area. And I don't think the next time we come back down here we're going to hold. I think they'll have to dip lower again, and we'll probably be taking a look at a move back towards this 2669. But right now we've got our breakout. We need to fight this area and then have the buyers get aggressive and push us up into the mid of that gap. Now, if you look at this whole move from the all-time highs down to the fractal low down here, the 61.8 retracement, which we've come back to a couple times, is here at the 2749.75 area, and that's right in this gap area. Oops, move this over to here. It's right in this gap area that's still above us right here. So let's start taking our levels from overnight and moving them over, and start our hypothesis for the day. 29 is the overnight low. Our overnight high is at 46.75, so we got into the gap zone, but we didn't get to the gap mid. Off of the overnight low, our upside ATR target is going to be the 57 and a quarter. That just happens to be that microcomposite VPOC. That is our next target above, with the naked close here at 56. Our overnight high less the ATR gives us a downside ATR target. And I don't make this stuff up, believe it or not, at the 1850. And there's so much going on here at this 1850. We've got the two microcomposite VPOCs. We've got the non-farm payroll, scene of the crime. That's where our non-farm came out on Friday. So there's a lot going, and it's now our daily downside ATR. Our full session average true range 20 period is running at 28.35, and that's where I'm getting that. So why do I pay attention to that? Because it gives me the range capabilities without expansion. So we have right now, we have the capabilities going up into 57 or down to 1850 without expanding our average true range on the 20 period. So though the overnight VPOC is the 43.50, so we are getting a higher price acceptance in the overnight session. So the overnight session is pretty much 90% net long in time and price. So we're looking for a balancing. I think there's a possibility we could get a gap and go day. So that's going to be putting my weight on hypo 1 and hypo 3. But in terms of hypotheses, my main hypothesis, and I've been trying to start to draw these out so for review it's easier. So in terms of the hypo 1, I hate these drawing tools, so I'm not any good at them. Let me just move this over a bit and expand this out. I know I'm being slow today. Sorry about this. Okay, so my main hypothesis is a open auction out of range. I'm looking for a wide opening range and probably even take out the overnight high on this, but I'm looking for a move down into the 37, possibly down to the 33.50, basing down here, fighting the high, and then moving up into this gap zone with 49 being the main target, chopping in this gap zone and a late day probe up into this 57, possibly even 60, but basically coming back and closing, okay, somewhere inside of this gap zone right here. That is hypo 1. Hypo 2, which wouldn't surprise me the way we've been trading, is an open auction out of range, take out the overnight high, hit the mid of the gap, chop up here, find sellers, have them come down here and come back and close the gap, chop down here, and then get a push down into the value area low before bouncing and coming up and closing somewhere in around the 41 to 43. That is hypo 2. And I have pretty equal weight on hypo 1 and hypo 2. And then equally, we have to look at the possibility of a gap or go. I'm looking for open auction out of range, failure to close the gap, and then push right up into this gap zone, fight the gap zone, and then push up into the 60, chop here, and then get a late day probe. Hold on a second, I didn't bring this down far enough for this hypothesis. I can't do that. Anyway, I'm looking for a late day probe up into the 66 to 69 before coming back and settling down here in the 60s. This is why I don't like using the drawing tools. And then the last hypothesis is a take back day, open auction out of range. Oops, where's my drawing tool? Open auction out of range, a takeout of the overnight high, find sellers, push down through to the 29 area, fight this area, and then come back down here and come back and close down in this 18 area. Those are my 4 main hypotheses, and I apologize for the lame drawing. But I don't know if I'm going to continue to try to draw these out. You guys can just follow the video and review the video if you want. Excuse me. Take a look at gold. Gold. Where's my gold chart? Oh, there it is. Why is that looking like that? I've got something wrong with my gold chart. Why is there an ES in the gold chart? You know what? I've got something going on with my charts. This should be it looks like when I close my IRT, it put me back to ES. I'm going to just skip gold today. So that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to my gold chart. I got to my desk late this morning, but it doesn't even look like I got my Q contract. I know I rolled. It's fine on my other computer. All right, so we got to do a roll here. That's just strange. I forgot to save, I guess. So we got that rolled. Then we do a rollover or full download. There we go, finally. Oh, that looks much better. Still have to do a full download. So I'm going to go ahead and close the room down, and I'll open it up for the members for the live session. Sorry about the not being able to get into the gold this morning. We are not perfect.